How many times have I had a wife come to me freaked out because her husband is talking about a wild and crazy plan? At least in her eyes, it's pretty wild, pretty crazy, pretty preposterous. And what I've learned is this is very common. Men are dreamers, they're adventure seekers, they're always coming up with kind of what we feel is a crazy idea. Like I still remember clearly the one time this woman came to me. She has 2 young children and her husband has decided that they should sell everything they own, buy a boat and sail around the world. It wasn't that much longer, maybe 6 months later, another wife came to me. Her husband wanted to sell everything they own, sell their house, and buy this huge motorhome and travel around the country for a year. I mean, just seemingly kind of wild, crazy ideas. There have been women who've, had husbands who wanted to, at the age of 60, start motorcycle racing, danger, adventure seeking. It's kind of like an instinctive thing for men, but most women, we crave security. And so when our husband comes to us with this seemingly crazy idea, we do tend to freak out. What should we do? Well, I want to just offer 2 suggestions, and they're both really Bible-based suggestions. Number 1, God does tell us in Ephesians 5:33, the wife must respect her husband. So in this moment, when you really feel like freaking out, and you really feel like saying things like, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, are you nuts? Instead of saying that, which would be highly disrespectful, what if you were to respect your husband in this moment, show respect by gently, quietly, calmly asking just some questions to just kind of help him actually, grapple with the ramifications of his idea. For instance, let's say he wants to sell everything, take your school-age children and sail around the world. You could just quietly, gently say, and not in a snarky way, okay, tell me more about this idea. So what are you thinking we do for schooling with our children as we're traveling around the world? What do you think we would do with our mortgage payment? Would we be renting the house? So you just help them to kind of grapple with the full ramifications of this idea, but you don't ask in a snarky way. You use a respectful tone. Many times the husband will then slowly start working through all the ramifications as you're asking those gentle, kind, calm questions and come to his own conclusion that it's a wild, wacky idea. Sometimes not, but at least you've been respectful in your tone. And then secondly, approach him in humility. I always think of Colossians 3 verse 12, which says, therefore as God's chosen ones, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Your husband will be much more receptive to hearing your concerns if you approach gently and humbly, not acting like you know everything and he knows nothing. Then he's just going to get all defensive and feel very disrespected. So, gentleness, humility, asking calm questions that are just designed to help him really figure out if this is a wise idea after all.